What's up, people? Sharky back, and today I'm going to be looking at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Brent Hit and Run Scott. So let's rip into it. And we will start, of course, with a close-up look of the figure in the package and things that you get. Here's number 188 in the line. There is some side panel art. It's not too bad, to be honest. A little boring, but not too bad. And then we've got a close-up look of him in action, rappelling down the side of a building. And a look at the face sculpt and his grapple hook. This is made in China. It says down here in the fine print. And if you would like to pause, you can get the barcode here if you wish. And that is it. That is that on that side of things. Let's do some skill sets. And from left to right, the shield here is Environmental Specialist, and he's a level 3. Next one over is Light Weapons. He's a level 2. This one here is Stealth, and he is a level 3. And the last one over is Mountaineering, and he is a level 3 also. So pretty balanced. That's it. That's the whack. Let's get the old trusty knife out and cut this open. First things first, do the old figure out of the box standing test, which I am prone to do, and you'll see that with no manipulation, he stands very easily, which is cool. This is also the point where I'm going to suggest to you that subscribing might be a good idea if you want to see more first looks at new release figures. And I will just say this, it's not going to be the last one you see this week. Let's start with the accessories. There are 10 of them. We'll pick up randomly selected items and go from there, and we'll start with this blade that does not want to balance in my hand at all, which is quite small. I don't recall seeing this one. I think this is new, but feel free to correct me in the comments. It just doesn't ring a bell at all, but it is very basic. It is all obviously solid black. There's no paint apps on it at all, but it's a nice looking knife. It would probably have some specific name that I am unfamiliar with. So again, feel free to let me know. We may as well stay on the bladed weapon side of things. He comes with this machete, which if you were living where I live and you owned one, you would be in breach of the law because machetes have been banned here in Melbourne, Victoria. Anyway, I digress. Again, solid black. A little boring, but it is nice. And I can't help but feel we will see this reused with Muskrat when they get around to doing him. Probably even a Dreadnought or maybe at some point as well. That is that. Ooh, what do we pick next? Let's go with his goggles, which have obviously a red translucent lens. They're pretty thin in terms of the actual lenses, and it's I don't know, this just feels a little janky, like a little not poorly designed, but like look at that. Can you see that? Like one side of it here, and I'll see if I can get it closer. On this side here, it has like a proper lens around it, but look at that side. It looks a bit thin and wonky, like it's like it was cut or something. some QC issues there on that front, I dare say. We'll have a look at his helmet now, which I do like. I've never seen this one before. It's a very light kind of infantry helmet, but it's also a little bland in some respects. I feel like it will obviously look better once it's on the figure. There's a close-up of it for you. Bang that over there. We've got his sidearm. And again, this, I feel like this is new. I do not recall this one at all. But again, I could be wrong. Port for blast effects here. No removable magazine. I don't know what sort of like firearm this is exactly. It looks like kind of like a Desert Eagle a little bit, but it might be a SIG. Again, weapons experts, let me know. We have his rifle, and it looks gummy, but it's pretty firm, especially across here. Removable mag. There is no bullet in terms of a paint app, I guess you could say. You got the laser pointer here. I don't believe the silencer, this is just, it's one solid piece. It's nice enough, but yeah, like it's not blowing me away or anything like that. Pardon the pun. But it's decent. It's definitely not reminiscent of his original weapon that came with the OG figure, which was I think it was the Colt Model 635 from memory. We've got the handle for his backpack. It's a handle. We have the hook that comes with some string. Isn't that a nice touch? Thank you, Hasbro. And then we have the duffel bag. Now, this here, the handle is movable, which is cool. I dig that. It's not a soft plastic, so to speak, but yeah, it's pretty nice. There's close-up details of the bag for you. Sheath for the big knife. Might as well go ahead and chuck that in there now. Does that not want to go in there? Wrong way around, Adam. Let's go this way. There we go. So it goes full up to there. There's a look at the other side. And let's open this up, shall we? Have a look in here. Now, there should be a way to click this open. There we go. Interesting. Interesting. Where's that handle go? Alright, after looking at the bag and seeing if there was some kind of attachment point for this, because if you remember the original figure, it had like a winding mechanism on it, but it doesn't have anywhere for this to go. So I'm thinking this is acting as like a pulley, like a counterweight through the harness. So we'll suss that out once we get to it. But first we'll of course look at the figure. Starting of course from the top. And the camo across the face is looking pretty good. It's a nice head sculpt. He's got a pretty basic sort of standard haircut. Having a look at the webbing here. We've got the sheath here. I'm wondering what goes in there. It's interesting. That's not for the sidearm, because the sidearm's down here. It's not for the knife. I don't know. Surely not. Maybe. Let's have a look. Nah, it's too big. All right. Maybe for the magazine? Okay. All right. Anyway, we'll have a look at that again later. You got the carabiner down here on the harness. Oh, these arms are a little stiff. Wow, they are. Can you hear that? There you go. Definitely a little stiff. You can probably hear that. But they're up. Butterfly is there. Not a massive range of movement, but it is there. Again, same thing here. Double pinless elbows. Bicep swivel. Wrist swivel there. That's for the knife there. You see that? Pretty sure it goes in there. Yep. There's your knife. You can look all the way down to here. And that's about as far as he's looking up. Which I guess for someone who climbs mountains, that's not ideal. Might want to get your neck worked on, buddy. Again, pinless over here. Bicep swivel, no problem. Actually, it's a little stiff, but it is there. And wrist swivel here. And hand articulation, let's see if they were gonna have a look. Doesn't appear to be much range of movement in the hands. I dare say we're going to experience the same with the ab crunch because of the harness. Actually, you can get down to about there. And about that far back. The elaborate nature of the harness is obviously going to restrict that. But it does look good. I will say that. And I don't feel like this is the same harness we've seen with like Crazy Legs or Ripcord. Pretty sure it's different. Yeah, pretty certain. Holster here. Again, this looks different to me as well. Like, I don't recall seeing that before. Might as well pop the sidearm in here now. And it's a snug fit. Not loose at all. Leg articulation. This is going to be interesting. You can get up pretty decent, actually, with the harness on the legs. It's good. Drop down, hips are there, but they are minimal movement. You can barely even see me moving them. Again, this leg's coming up. No problems, which is nice. And in terms of kicking his own ass, that's about as far as he's going to get on that side of things. Pretty certain the other leg will be close to the same. Check out the thigh swivel. That's really nice, moving very fluidly. And again, on that leg too. And should point out that the harness is not restricting that at all because it's sitting flush, which is nice. I like that because figures in the past haven't had that. Boot cut. Yep. No issues there, of course. Let's see with the feet. 10 toes down, no problems. Back up. And it can go up a little bit too. And that's pretty much the figure. In terms of the camo, I haven't really talked about that. But of course, it's all front on. Let me just get these arms back down. Oh gosh, they are stiff. Very stiff. I'm just being gentle here, guys. We don't want to force anything, but they are moving. They're just a little bit stiff. And the camo is, of course, wrap around. Except for up here on the top. There's none there, but there is on the front. But you do have it on the arms and the legs. Anyway, that's the figure. Let's just have another see how he stands after some playing around. No issues. So anyway, let's take him and kit him out with some of this stuff. All right, so remember what I said about the glasses? They just broke as I tried to put them on off camera, just over his helmet. They literally snapped. So that is pretty shit. So just be careful with that. Look at that. It's a clean snap, folks. So yeah, you won't be seeing those on him. Anyway, cast those over there. Is that pointless now? There's the helmet. It does look good on his head, but I feel like it would pop a little bit more if he had these. Anyway, we push on. Side profile, look at it. It was easy just to take the head off and fit the helmet over it. It's probably your best bet. All right. Okay, so you can see I've taken the string and I've got it coming through the carabiner, and it's in his hand here, and it's coming out of the backpack or the duffel, depending on what do you want to call it. It's not a backpack. So I thought this would be an anchor or something. I haven't quite figured that out, how this actually works, but if you take the duffel, let me just take that off so I can show you, and open it up, there's a little part here for the rope to come out of, and honestly, that is literally just sitting in there, and it's a perfect width. Like, it doesn't pull out, like it stays firmly in there. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, but it is functional in terms of him being able to hold it and, you know, climb with it, I guess. So we'll do that in a second. I'll demonstrate how well he hangs from it. But this is also a good point where I tell you that the original figure, which was designed by Mark Pennington, he was an avid rock climber at that time, which would have been like 87, 88. And that's part of the inspiration for Hit and Run. And that little pearl of wisdom is from the books of Dan Klingensmith, which I've mentioned before. But let me shoot over here, and I'm going to hang him from the details. Now, I can't zoom in super close, but you can see that he's balancing on that rope, and I've literally just got the hook hanging off part of a trouble bubble, which you might be able to see. But of course, I can't really get him into a good position because of the glass. He's slipping off the glass, but he's hanging just fine. No issue at all. And it took me all of one go to clip it on. He hasn't fallen off at all. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, let me get this back to a normal camera angle and we'll continue. Before we do some comparisons, there's a few things I want to show you. So first up, this is the magazine from the rifle, and it does fit perfectly in there, and it stays in there. Now, you can see I've armed him with a gridiron M16, and I did that because I want to do a little nod to his action force profile. Fans of the British books will instantly recognize that because he was pictured with an M16 in it. And I think it looks pretty good. Anyway, let's get this out of his hand and we'll do something else. I just wanted to see how he'd look paired up with the Action Pilot parachute, and it's a pretty good match. And the reason I've done that is because there was obviously the Target exclusive of the original figure that came with the parachute pack as an alternate to the duffel. So yeah, just another different look you can throw at him, I guess. And I've just tucked, you know, this connecting point into the back of his harness, so it just looks like, you know, he's wearing it. Yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, let's do some comparisons. Here he is, of course, with his Class of 88 alumni, Budo and Shockwave. And I'm just going to go on record again and say that this is still my figure of the year. And I think that he looks great with those guys. You know, the tactical look of Budo, Shockwave's SWAT, urban blue camo, thrown in the mix here. I dig it. He fits in well. Height-wise, I think Budo's got them beat, to be honest. Just, it's not, maybe it's the top knot. But yeah, he's definitely, I think, a little bit taller than Shockwave, maybe. Could just be the helmet too. But yeah, anyway, let's switch these guys out for another couple of blokes. And speaking of camo, here, have some more of it. You've got the 60th Halo jumper, which I mentioned just previously, and this 60th Infantry Soldier. And again, he fits in really well with them. You know, I know a lot of people were like, oh, this is good enough for me as a hit and run, but let's be honest, come on. You want him looking like this. And I really do like this figure a lot. But it can be its own thing. It's okay. But if you want it to be hit and run, that's okay too. Which camo of the three do you prefer the most? Let me know in the comments. And we will do one more final comparison. And lastly, I've paired him up with the Phantom core with one of the general heads on, which I think looks fantastic. And my very, very, very simple Extraction Chris Hemsworth kit bash, which uses a Action Force Deseret. And I put him in there because I haven't had him on camera for a while and I like it. But I also put this guy in here because it's a fantastic figure. It is one of the most elite Monster Force figures that they've released of this current wave. But that is all the comparisons done. Before we do my final thoughts, I just want to show you one last thing. And that is him holding this weapon has been problematic. These hands suck. And I'll show you why. Getting him to hold the rifle and getting his finger in the trigger guard is problematic. The rifle does not, let me get that to focus on there properly, does not sit in the crest of his hand properly at all. And when you try to adjust it, you're blocked, of course, by the wrist here. So if you look here, even bending the trigger finger to get it into where the trigger guard is, it doesn't want to go all the way through. So if you try and leverage it in there, you can get it in there, sure, a little bit more, but then it's still looking janky. So I guess I can move the knife sheath up, you're probably thinking, and you would think that that might fix it. Nope, it does not. And that is not fantastic. But if we do the other hand, let's have a look. It is a bit cold here today in Melbourne, so yeah, he's not going to want to hold this either, I think, in this hand. And the stock is not making it easy either. Give me 1 second. Yeah, look, it's better, like marginally better in terms of where it's sitting, but look at the stock, how it's bending here on the forearm. That's shit. I'm sorry, but that is shit. And you can get the finger through the trigger guard a little bit more, but not much. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Like, even if I push this in here, you're probably going to find that it'll fit a little bit better. But yeah, look, see the gap here? Anyway, let's do some final thoughts. I honestly thought that this figure was going to be the standout of the wave. And of course, I haven't seen the other figures yet, but so far, I'm not too sure about that. Firstly, egregious, poor quality. This should not happen. I wish it had happened on camera so you could have seen it. That's pathetic. So that's one. Gripe number one. Two, would it have hurt them to include a little printed booklet that explains the best way to rig the hook and the handle, which is inside the bag currently, through the harness, so you're not flying blind, so you have a bit more of an idea. And sure, you might be thinking, oh, but you can go and look at the product images. Well, guess what? I did that. And it doesn't really give you a full overview of how you can rig it. I'm not a mountain climber. Like, all I know is the original figure and how that worked. And it's like, why couldn't they replicate that assembly? I don't know why, but they didn't. Anyway, we are left with what we're left with. And sure, as I did demonstrate in the video, it does work. So I'm not saying that it's faulty in that sense or anything like that. I'm just saying it could have been done a little bit better. The hands, as I mentioned, garbage. They should have used different hands. The fact that he can't hold his rifle properly is, again, not good enough. And the magazine fitting in here, okay, cool. if he's got a magazine in there, how's he going to shoot the gun if he's going to only comes with one magazine? Why not give us an extra magazine? That would have cost them nothing, like zero. Other figures do it. You know, look, I'll give Bobby Vella some props. Like, you know, look, there's a couple of mags there in that can come out. You know what I mean? Like, Monster Force do it as well. Like, you know, where's an example in here? I don't have one in there, but you can see that they can go in there. So if you're going to give us something like that, go the whole way. Don't just half-ass it. You might be thinking, oh, Adam, you're so critical. But think about a figure like Monkey Wrench and everything that he came with. And how, you know, he could hold the wrench axes on his back. He can hold his pistol and in here. He's got the scarf. The goggles actually work. He comes with an alternate head. That's a standard release. This is a standard release. So why does one release get so much effort and care and level of attention to detail given to it, but then you've got something like this? I don't know. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to hit the hype button. Whatever you like. No pressure. And on that note, gang, until next time, take care of yourselves. Have fun with your toys. Say hi to your dogs for me.